producer with nothing to lose. McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. Here comes McKnight Tonight.
Welcome to McKnight Tonight. Here's Rob McKnight.
Hello, good evening and welcome to McKnight Tonight. I am Rob McKnight and it is Wednesday, the 11th of March, 2026. It is so great to have you with us. There's been a lot more happening on the politics front. We will get to that shortly on the show. And I've got a few surprises as well. So much happening. This morning I thought, what are we going to talk about tonight? And then it all exploded, including some exclusives for you as well. But if you're new here, hit subscribe and tap the bell at youtube.com/@McKnight It's where everyone goes to watch the show, and it's the best place to be part of our community and join the comments. We have a great community of people talking to you on the comments section. I read a lot of them out live, but there's also a community discussion happening there. So go and take part in it. Just become a subscriber. You'll love it. You'll love it, I tell you. And if you've got something to say, make sure you put it in there, and we will possibly feature it on the show. All right, coming up in this edition of McKnight Tonight, a McKnight Tonight exclusive. The ABC is planning to shut down local newsrooms over Easter, and I can tell you it has nothing to do with staff welfare, even though that's what they're saying. Then the Nationals have a new leader. I'll be joined by journalist Tim Blair to talk through what it means for the party and the broader political landscape. Rob's rant tonight, Pete Hegseth on 60 Minutes in the US. He's been slammed for refusing to reveal military secrets to the media. I reckon he's right. And the Victorian Commonwealth Games disaster. $1 million spent on a 56-second ad that nobody ever saw. Plus, Marty Sheargold breaks his silence on his controversial sacking from Triple M. All of that and so much more coming up. But first, let's get into our hot topics. And we begin with the McKnight Tonight exclusive. The ABC is set to close down local newsrooms over Easter in a bid to save millions of dollars. While newsrooms have closed down previously on Good Friday, this will be the first time there will be no local radio or TV bulletins for 4 consecutive days. In an email sent to news editors and obtained by McKnight Tonight, Donna Field, the ABC's head of regional, rural and metro news, advises managers of the changes, stating, "As you're all well aware, it's been a relentless news agenda since early December. Bondi, then yet another unprecedented high-risk weather season and a war. All these events have put significant load on teams across news. As a sustainability measure, the Easter schedule has been revisited. Easter Saturday, Sunday and Monday will now be national 7 p.m. bulletins ex the New South Wales newsroom from Ultimo. Perth will stay local given the time difference. Good Friday, unchanged. National Bulletin X News Channel. Radio news will be national bulletins across Good Friday, Easter Saturday, Sunday and Easter Monday. Perth will stay local given the time difference. The comms teams have even prepared a statement for managers to send out to their newsrooms, saying, the Easter schedule has been revised to include more national programming for radio and television. This is a sustainability measure that addresses the significant load all teams have been under over the past few months, with Bondi, an intense summer of natural disasters, and of course the ongoing demanding coverage of the war. But I can reveal this move has very little to do with staff sustainability. It's all about cost cutting. In hookups with regional managers, it was revealed the news department is millions of dollars over budget, and the nationalisation of the ABC News over the Easter period is seen as a way of bringing down the budget black hole. I'm even told news boss Justin Stevens is very worried about ongoing costs, and pressure has been applied on all newsrooms to cut spending. Now, this decision to forego localism over Easter is a desperate bid to save money by the ABC instead of serving local communities. Let's be clear. This means the 7 p.m. ABC News will not be local for 4 days. It will be one national bulletin, except in Perth due to the time differences. Local ABC radio stations will not have local news, just national bulletins. While there will be a reporter on hand to cover local news, regional newsrooms know their news will not make the national cut. And those local news managers are very concerned about what happens if there is a big breaking story. You've got to understand, with 4 days off, it's very likely staff will make plans for that period and won't be available to come back at the last minute if the big one drops. It's very concerning that the ABC prides itself on being local, on being able to deliver local coverage in regional areas. In fact, as you drive along any highway, you'll see those signs saying, for emergency broadcasting, tune into the ABC. What happens over this period? It'll be a scramble to be able to provide anything if the big one does drop. This is a real shame and is not what I consider to be the ABC's charter. Yep, it'll save some money, but at what cost? One day over Good Friday, it's a quiet day, you can forgive that. But at the whole Easter period, when things are happening out in the real world, news doesn't stop just because it's Easter. And look, I'll be posting the whole email that I've received on the TV Black Box website in the morning if you want more details. This is worth looking at because the ABC is letting its listeners and its viewers down.
Here comes McKnight Tonight.
All right, let me know your thoughts about the ABC cutting local news over Easter. Am I making too big a deal of it? I don't think it's right, but let me know your thoughts at youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. All right, moving on. And the Nationals have a new leader tonight, with Matt Canavan winning the top job at a party room meeting this morning. Here's what he had to say at a press conference held shortly after he assumed the role.
It's tough times out there for Australians. I stood for this role because I think we are losing our country. People are losing their standard of living, they're losing their confidence, we're losing our relaxed and larrikin nature, and we have to fight back for Australians. That's the bad news. The bad news is that things are not going well under this Labor government. The good news though, is that everything we need to solve the problems in front of us right now are here in this country. Everything we need to make Australia the country it was in the past is here in our nation. We have the resources, we have the people, we have the land, we've got the soil, we've got the rain when it comes sometimes, it is a lot right now in Queensland. We've got everything we need here in this country.
So, what does it mean for the party that has been losing support to One Nation? Tim Blair from the Daily Telegraph is here to share his insights. Tim, my friend, welcome to McKnight Tonight.
No problem, my friend.
Hey, is Matt Canavan the right choice to lead the Nats?
At the moment, yes. In fact, probably for some time he's been the right bloke to lead it. What we've seen is fantastic, isn't it? We've had the rise of One Nation and the rise of a kind of an unpolished style of politics. It's now got the advantage. If you're too polished, if you're too much like a traditional politician, that's going to count against you. So I think Canavan's a good blend of the polished traditional. I mean, he's been a professional politician for a long time, but he's still got enough of an edge. He's got enough authenticity that's going to get through. As well, he's an unrepentant right winger. He's pro coal, and I think, anyone who pays attention to Australian politics, we've got this funny thing that has happened for the best part of the century. Left-wing parties do really well in Australia when they go against their instincts, when they go more towards the right. It hurts them, but they get votes, But right-wing parties do really badly when they go towards the left because their fakery is just so much more obvious. And as we saw with the coalition's experiments with Turnbull and the Nationals' experiments with trying to be other than traditional representative of rural Australians.
It's so true. Now, look, because I'm pedantic, since we did our checks before the show, you've sort of become low down in your framing. So just close your laptop monitor just a fraction for me. I can't let it go.
I've been shrinking. I've been diminished.
Now, you mentioned it's a lurch to the right. Will that serve the Nats well? Is this the antidote to One Nation?
It very well may be. I think what we're going to find as this parliamentary cycle evolves is that the people who've been indicating in opinion polls that they're going towards One Nation, it's more than a simple indication of protest. They are committed to that, but the fact that they're moving as well shows that they may be up for moving backwards. Their vote is in play, if you like.
Well, sorry, can I just ask? Are you saying the policies of One Nation obviously appeal, but it seems to me the Libs and the Nats have lost people because they've been in such disarray. People are looking for something else, and One Nation is the closest thing to their kind of politics. Even if for some it's a bit too far right, wouldn't that serve the Libs and Nats well if they're actually being a proper opposition?
I'm not sure if even right is the correct way of phrasing this at the moment. I think so many of One Nation's policies strike Australians as sound and common sense. For example, going against net zero. That's considered from the other side of the climate argument. The people who are always pro, serious action to address climate change, or what they believe is climate change, they always say, "Oh, it's not a political argument. This is above politics. We've got to stop the Earth being destroyed." Well, I think a lot of One Nation voters, a lot of One Nation supporters, and a lot of core coalition supporters, they believe the same thing from the other direction, that saving Australia's economy should not be a political issue. It shouldn't be defined as some sort of extreme right-wing position to be in favour of not destroying our nation. We should have our own means of our own policies and the way we apply those policies that isn't influenced, for example, by decisions made in the United Nations.
Yeah, that's very interesting and very well put. Look, Matt Canavan today, he has started throwing punches on day one. Here's what he had to say about the government.
I believe this government for far too long has been looking for acclaim overseas before delivering solutions on the ground. And we see that more than anywhere else right now with this inexplicable fuel crisis, unable to deliver basic essentials to our farmers to just keep livestock alive. And this government continuing now to act like everything is fine while our country burns is not acceptable for the Australian people. So all the promise I give and gave to our party room and to all Australians out there is that I will now not rest to fight for our nation, to get back to use our resources, to fight for the Australian people, to put our country first. And I'm very, very proud to lead this wonderful team in the Nationals Party in that pursuit.
Tim, lately I've heard a lot of commentary from the opposition saying this terrible Labor government, Labor government under Susan Lee and now then Angus Taylor, it's been the same thing. What I haven't understood and what they haven't articulated is why the government is bad. Now, they've got a cost of living crisis now that they can latch onto. But that comment just then was the first time I actually heard someone articulate what Labor's doing bad.
It's kind of refreshing, isn't it? He's got to hang on to that, Matt Canavan. And he writes I think a fortnightly column for us at the Daily Telegraph. The man's style is very direct. He does prosecute a point very aggressively. He hangs on to things. One thing that's going to be fascinating to watch, and this is almost nothing to do with politics, it's just a sort of a social observation thing. Matt Canavan has a sense of humour, which can be a great weapon politically, and also it can get you in a lot of trouble because political journalists aren't a funny bunch, really. And they don't interpret jokes well a lot. So let's see how they deal with Matt Canavan's. He's very gifted at spontaneous comebacks and quips and so on. If those are misinterpreted, that could be a lot of fun. It could be a lot of fun indeed.
You got me looking forward to something now. Let's go back to yesterday when David Littleproud made the surprise announcement. This is what he had to say.
But I'm buggered. I'd have enough. To lead this great party would be the wrong thing for me to do. I love the National Party. I grew up in it. I'll bleed till the day I die, green and gold. I love it. And it would be wrong for me to say that I'm the right person to continue to lead. That's tough for me to say. I think someone better can do it because I don't have the energy. I'm out on my feet and I'm done. But I'm proud of what I've done. I'm proud of us recapturing our identity for who we are and what we stand for that 30% of Australians that live outside a capital city that don't get a voice in here unless someone's got the guts to do it. I did it with the voice. I did it with the vestige of nuclear energy, with universal service obligation reform, the Regional Australia Future Fund, net zero. I've done more as the leader and shaping public policy and the coalition policy probably since John McEwen. And to be candid, I've faced probably much of the same challenges he had in the coalition. It's not probably since John McEwen, as a National Party leader, had to stand up and show the courage of their character and their party room and stand for what their party room wants them to stand for. So I'm proud, but I'm tired.
Hell of a statement, Tim. He's the Messiah.
Yeah, since Blackjack McEwen, eh? Right. Not sure. I'm not sure even David Littleproud's most devoted fan, who probably I think shares his name and DNA, would go that far in moments of quiet reflection. Just speaking of moments of quiet reflection, a lot of people who reflexively vote National Party, who are always in the National side, a lot of those people had issues with David Littleproud going back to the COVID time, which put a lot of people under pressure, a lot of political people under pressure. This was what David Littleproud said in 2021 when there'd been anti-vax protests in Melbourne. He described the anti-vaccine protesters as scum and said that they, quote, did not deserve to live in society freely. Now, a lot of the COVID stuff we've kind of moved past, and understandably because we wanted to. But those sort of comments, the extreme prejudice reflected in those comments, revealed in those comments, that stayed with a lot of people. And it was under a huge amount of pressure at the time, but really calling your fellow Australians scum and saying they don't deserve to live in society freely, that's a bit tasty, isn't it?
I never rated him as a leader for a couple of reasons. He never saw the value of Barnaby Joyce. Now, Barnaby Joyce is a politician who connects with the public, whether it's in his electorate or even just talking to people. Yeah, Barnaby's got his issues, but he does connect. He was a real asset for the Nats. And also the multiple splitting ups with the Liberal Party for the coalition, you know, it's like he was having a tanty.
It really was, wasn't it? Yeah. 2 breakups in 6 months. It's like Elaine and Puddy on Seinfeld. They were always breaking up, weren't they? And then getting back together. And I remember the Elaine character was terrific. It was such a beautiful show. But Elaine's character, her way of punishing Puddy was to say, right, we're back together until tomorrow night. You know, it wasn't that breaking up was the punishment, it was getting back together was the punishment, which I think a lot of people in the coalition might relate to that sentiment at present. I don't think history is going to say a lot about David Littleproud. I mean, he was a politician. He looked like a politician. He was largely interchangeable between the major parties. There's a lot of them around. You know, fine. You know, he'll. I think he's sticking around. I haven't paid much attention.
Yeah, it seems that
really,
way, doesn't it? But he wasn't pushed out, was it? This was his decision because the poor little Diddums is tired.
Well, we don't know the full background of it, but you know, at least the only time this bloke ever sounded like a National Party politician was when he was quitting, and he said, "I'm buggered. I've had enough, mate." Suddenly. Where was this guy? Where's the straight talking representative of rural Australia? He's suddenly here when he's walking out the door. It's very interesting, isn't it? We'll see how he might have I mean, he's still a young bloke. He might have a second shot at public life or in the private sector. Who knows? Best of luck to him, but bye for now, son.
Yeah, I think the National Party is better for having a new leader in Matt Canavan. Tim Blair, I always appreciate your insights on the Daily Telegraph. Thank you so much for joining us on McKnight Tonight.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Have you checked out the latest range of McKnight Tonight merch? You could look sexy in a T-shirt or even one of these caps. Or you could have a Rob's Rant with me every day by getting your own mug. But maybe you're the kind of person who prefers a Backend quickie. Well, you can get them all and more at McKnightTonight.myshopify.com. That's McKnightTonight.myshopify.com. Get some merch, help us out, and you'll look good doing it.
Here comes McKnight Tonight.
You know what I need? I need a rant. Have a look at this clip from 60 Minutes in the US of an interview with Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War, whichever you prefer, Pete Hegseth.
Is it possible to achieve the objectives President Trump has set before you if we don't locate and obtain and extract the highly enriched uranium?
There's a lot of different ways we can get after that. They've used a conventional umbrella of missiles that was growing every single day, their production capacity, to try to cover over their nuclear blackmail ambitions. As far as how you get at that nuclear option, we'll make sure that their nuclear ambitions are never achieved.
Will we take it out ourselves?
Oh, I would never tell you or anybody else what our options are. See, that's another thing. People keep asking.
It's a legitimate question.
It's a very fair question. People ask boots on the ground, no boots on the ground, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, go in. President Trump knows, I know, you don't tell the enemy, you don't tell the press, you don't tell anybody what your limits would be on an operation. We're willing to go as far as we need to in order to be successful.
And he's right, isn't he? The media don't have the right to know what their war plans are. Now, whether you agree or not with the reasons for going in, whether it's a diversion from the Epstein files, whether they really do want to help the people of Iran, whatever you think of the war, I love this idea that the media think they have the right to know what they're planning. Are you going to put boots on the ground? Well, why would we tell you that? This is the one time where I do think government should keep secrets. I'm all for open government. I'm all for the media pushing governments and wanting to know. But when you're making strategic decisions, we don't have the right to know. They should tell us and explain it once they do it. But loose lips sink ships. Wouldn't Iran love it? So where are you going to strike next? And Iran's there going, oh, okay, right. We'll just listen to what Pete Hegseth is saying. No, you got to keep your cards close to your chest in a time of war. And, you know, look, it's fair for the media to ask questions. That's what the media do. But I've got to say on this one, I'm completely with Pete Hegseth. That might surprise you. That's Rob's rant. We've still got a lot to cover on tonight's edition of McKnight Tonight. Coming up, we'll look at the Commonwealth Games fiasco that happened in Victoria. We're also going to have a look at what Marty Sheargold told at Current Affair tonight. It's the first TV interview he's done since he was sacked by Triple M over those Matilda's comments and endometriosis, you might remember. And Mel McLaughlin, the Sydney sport presenter on 7 News, has revealed she's got lung cancer. I'll show you what she said tonight on the news in Sydney. I'll also have a Backend quickie. And Amanda, tonight's Backend quickie is for you.
Oh. Thank you.
You might not thank me. And I'm going to get to your feedback. But first, let's have a random live shot of the day.
It's the random live shot of the day. Where are you going today? You'll never know where you'll end up with the random live shot of the day.
Tonight's random live shot of the day takes us to the United Kingdom. This is Dartmouth, a historic coastal town in Devon, England. The camera is positioned at the Embankment Bistro, looking out over the Dart River. Now you can... Oh, that's not the live webcam, Manda. I think you need to enable the mouse and refresh. There we go. Well, that is live streaming for you. Anything can happen. Now you can see the boats. They pass through, the tide rolls in, and there's a quiet charm of one of Devon's most beautiful destinations. Certainly a long way from Australia on a Wednesday night. Oh, I picked a good one here. What are they doing? Maybe I don't know what they're doing, but it is a nice place. I've never been to Dartmouth. I think I've heard of it, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you what it is. All right, let's have a look at some feedback coming through to McKnight Tonight on this Wednesday night. Bought my McKnight Tonight merch tonight. Clintos is the best us. Good on you, Clintos. I'll join you for that one. We'll have some merch together. And we have made the decision. We are closing the Shopify store soon because it actually costs us a lot of money each month to host it. And Amanda's not keen of the show costing us money. So yes, I'm closing the shop soon. And I will look for alternatives. But if you do want to get some McKnight Tonight merch, look, this stuff is good quality. But as you can imagine, there's not enough people buying the merch, and it's costing a hosting fee every month, and it's not cheap, actually. So, yeah, go to McKnightTonight.myshopify.com. Get them while stocks last. All right. Matt says, ABC Hobart was wonderful. You could just drop in there and say hello and ask questions. Now it's all playing Sydney and gatekept by people who think they are better than you. Bring regions back. Good point, Matt. That's a good point. And it's only getting worse over Easter, as I exclusively revealed. We've got this one from Own Your Crazy. Rob, don't embarrass your valuable guest. Not everyone is a TV professional's truth. Channel 9 Brisbane makes a change to their news desk and somebody gets drunk with now. Do you know what? If it was someone I didn't know, I would probably have let it go, although I probably wouldn't have. I know Tim and I have worked on Booty and the Beast together, so he knows how pedantic I can be, and so he was fine. And didn't he do it like a professional? He just went like that. The problem was solved, and I didn't have to get a nervous twitch for the rest of the interview. Clintos is the best, says, correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't all news outlets gone through rough times since one? Yeah, thank you, Clintos is the best. This is the biggest load of bullshit the ABC is going to be delivering. And look, they haven't communicated this to their staff yet. I'm actually breaking the story, and the article will be up on TV Black Box, but all the staff haven't been told. This is how fresh this information is. And they are going to try and spin it as though our teams need rest. No, people in Adelaide didn't have to deal with Bondi. It's a very Sydney thinking, isn't it? Oh, we've had Bondi and some storms. No, it's pure BS. They are doing it just to cut costs. BuzzMonkey4563 says South Australia have to vote in 10 days. I will not be voting One Nation because Corey Bernardi is strongly against same-sex marriage, which is disappointing. And that's a very fair point. I think that's a very fair point. And good on you actually getting across what each candidate stands for. That is the true power of democracy and the true power of your vote. Good on you for that. Matthew says, didn't Mel Meninga quit politics in the same sort of language? Mel Meninga, the shortest political career ever. I was working at Prime TV in Canberra when Mal did his tilt for politics, and in the interview where they were asking why he was doing it, he just went, he's on radio, live on radio, and he just went, no, I can't do this. Threw the headphones off and walked out, never to be seen in the political sphere again. Own Your Crazy says, anyone else notice Matt had two former national leaders behind him, one on the left and one on the right? Yeah, very good point. Very good point. Clintos is the best. David Littleproud literally standing in the shadow of Matt Canavan at the press conference today. I did notice that. We've got this one from Matt. I'm against same-sex marriage. I voted against it. The Australian people voted, so I respect that decision. I'm all for same-sex marriage, Matt, but that's the point. Everyone has their right to their choice and their vote. And I like what you've said there, though. You've respected the decision of the people. Good on you. Own Your Crazy says, if it weren't for this sting, I wouldn't know when the rant began. Good point. Well made. All right. Still plenty to come on this edition of McKnight Tonight. Let's do a few more topics.
You can show your support for the show by buying me a coffee. Just go to buymeacoffee.com/McKnight Tonight. Every bit helps keep this show from our garage going.
Here comes McKnight Tonight.
Well, the Victorian Commonwealth Games disaster is back in the news tonight, and the more we learn about what happened, well, the worse it looks. A Herald Sun investigation has revealed at least $1 million was spent on a 56-second promotional video for the Games, a video that never aired. $1 million for that. As a promo producer, I did some very big campaigns, both at Channel 9 and Channel 7. And one of my news campaigns, I think we spent a bit over $100,000. And some of the things I did shat on that. There's not $1 million worth of creativity in that ad. There's not did I say 100,000? I meant there's not $1 million worth of creativity in that ad. There's not $1 million worth of production. That is shit. But guess what? There were two videos in total, each costing $1 million for a total cost of $2 million. They were ready to go, but this was, of course, before the games were cancelled, so they never hit the screens. Now, the investigation by the Herald Sun paints a picture of a project that was politically driven, poorly planned, and never properly costed. The event was originally contracted at $2.6 billion with an expected benefit of $3 billion. But if you followed this, you'll know in April 2023, just a year after the contract was signed, so less than a year after the contract, the budget was quietly being revised to $3.6 billion. Then a month later, then Minister Jacinta Allen warned it could reach $4.5 billion. It's like bidding on a house. 3.6 billion, 4.5 billion. The construction unions, well, they were also circling. The CFMEU and others were pushing for the same workplace deals used on Melbourne's big build. And government officials were warning that could add another $630 million to the bill. $630 million. Additionally, because the unions were getting greedy. In June 2023, the Department of Jobs issued a formal black swan warning about the industrial relations risk. The Auditor General later said the warning was valid and the $630 million figure was, quote, real and likely to be realised. When Daniel Andrews finally pulled the plug in July 2023, he put the cost at somewhere between $6 and $7 billion. Organisers watched the announcement together in Geelong. There were tears, there was anger, and when Dan Andrews told the press conference, quote, I've made a lot of very difficult decisions in this job. This is not one of them. Sources have told the Herald Sun objects were literally thrown at the TV. At the end of it all, Victoria was left with a $589 million bill for nothing. A feasibility study conducted years earlier had warned that a regional games would only work if key events were hosted in Melbourne. Those warnings, insiders say, weren't just ignored. The whole plan was fast-tracked by 4 years. And that, my dear friends, is the state of the Victorian government that still doesn't seem to have learnt its lessons. It was embarrassing when they threw away the Commonwealth Games and that quip saying it was an easy decision. I remember watching that. I'm not a Victorian, but I was watching that thinking, why have we got the games and we're throwing them away and you think it's an easy decision? It's not the people of the Commonwealth Games or the organisers' fault that you're letting the unions take, what was it, $630 million? Adding that to the bill on top of all the other costs? Maybe you just need to get the unions under control. I have to say, Victoria, this is shameful. And we've still got so many issues in Victoria. You know, we've got the Premier allegedly paying for Instagram followers. There's more stories about union corruption and all these multi-million-dollar deals that have been done. I wonder, it has me wondering, will Victoria keep supporting Labor in Victoria at the next election? They've done it so far. They transitioned from Dan Andrews to Jacinta Allen. But will they do it again? It's going to be fascinating to find out.
McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. Here comes McKnight Tonight.
Tell me what you think. Go to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. We're still getting your feedback together. I can see it coming through and I'll answer it as well. All right, moving on. And former radio host and comedian Marty Sheargold has broken his silence over his sacking from Triple M. Now, you might remember Marty was sacked over these comments he made about the Matildas.
In football or soccer, it's been a nightmare tournament for the Matildas over the last 3 or 4 days over in the US.
You know what they remind me of? Year 10 girls. Now, I'm sorry to undermine the whole sport, but that's what I think of it, so you can stick it up your ass.
So we're playing in the She Believes Cup.
Oh, she believes in what? It better be men.
We're 12 months out from Australia hosting the Women's Asian Cup, so hopefully we have a bit of runway to improve before that comes around.
The Asian Cup. I'd rather hammer a nail through the head of my watch that. Got any men's sport?
Yeah, I do. Baseball.
Well, as we know, he was sacked after that, and tonight the comedian appeared on Channel 9's The Current Affair for his first interview since his departure from the radio station. Have a listen to his response when he was asked if he truly meant it when he apologised.
I know you apologised.
Yeah.
But do you really mean it?
To that playing group and the extended group of the Matildas, yeah, I apologise. But to people that are offended by that on the outside of that group, come on.
Do you accept it was a gag that just wasn't funny?
Yeah, well, I accept that for some people that's what it was, yeah. I accept that some people were genuinely offended by what I thought was a joke.
It's interesting, isn't it? He seems genuinely sorry to the Matildas, but anyone else who was joining the pile-on, no, he doesn't have time for it. I agree with him. He then talked about the fallout of his sacking.
Is making that comment one of your regrets?
The comment itself, no. The fallout from it, yeah, for not only me, but for the team that I was working in, for their reputations, you know, for the company and for the kids. But yeah, if I had any regrets, it would be the exit from the business and also personally the effect it had on the kids, for them to sort of have their dad be cancelled, as it were. That's not a real badge of honour when you're wandering around the playground, I wouldn't have thought.
How did you handle that?
Well, we just, you know, circled the wagons. And they know me, so they know, you know, that I'm not a misogynist and I'm not sexist and I'm not whatever the other sort of, you know, commentary that was levelled at me.
Yeah, it's fair enough, isn't it? And every time people try to get people cancelled, they never think about the greater impact. A whole production team lost their jobs. His family certainly felt it. And was anything that he said really that bad? He made a joke. You might not agree with it. Move on. I would imagine most of the people who were offended by that joke didn't listen to it on the original broadcast. His listeners know him. They would have found it funny. I know there were exceptions. There were some sporting stars who were listening at the time and did find it offensive. That's fair enough. You're allowed to. Was it worth him losing his job, though? Look, I found this next part very interesting when he talked about the character of Marty Sheargold. He'd been asked about his endometriosis comments where he said the disease wasn't real. That was a comment that also brought about condemnation.
When I was in the radio, I was playing the character of Marty Sheargold. People just think you are who you are when you turn up to work, and clearly I'm, you know, not sitting at home telling my two daughters that endometriosis isn't real.
Now that to me is really interesting, because I've always thought the truth about what I do here and when I'm on radio is about being true. Yes, you might heighten things. I don't sit at home and sit there and introduce hot topics and then talk about them, although the family do have to often listen to me pontificate about the state of the world.
Yes.
I don't think your mic's working tonight.
Yes.
No, you're only in the background. Of course, the moment there are lights or you're behind a microphone, it is an enhanced version of yourself. But I don't think of myself as a character. I'm Rob McKnight. Rightfully or wrongfully, I'm Rob McKnight. I say what I think and I say what I feel. I'm really confused by that comment. Is his whole thing an act? Is he not who he projects to be? I don't know. And finally, he was asked about the woke culture and whether he deserves a second chance.
That brings us to the whole woke conversation, doesn't it?
I think woke certainly has a place, but I think you want to be careful.
There's people out there that would say, you don't deserve a second chance, Marty.
Which is, to me, ridiculous. I mean, Jesus Christ, can you be cancelled twice, Steve? I mean, it'd be pretty extraordinary.
I agree with him. People do deserve second chances. He hasn't killed a person. Even people who go to jail get second chances. You know, I have every reason not to support this guy. Marty and I once met up for a coffee at the beginning of Studio 10. It was a crazy time. I caught up with him and his co-host, and later on the radio, he talked about it sometime later, and my name came up for some reason, and he said, most boring man on the planet. Remember that coffee? Just went, okay. So, I'm not mates with this guy, but I don't think he should have been sacked. I don't think he should have been cancelled. And I absolutely believe in his right to tell jokes that appeal to his audience. We are getting so pressured. He was on Triple M, which skews towards men and is that blokey culture. And the moment someone does the blokey thing, off with their head. So bloody ridiculous. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. With Marty Sheargold, you know what you're getting. There's no surprises. As someone who doesn't overly listen to him, was I surprised by what he said? No, I wasn't. I might not agree, I might disagree, but I don't care. We're just living in this world of cancel culture. We need to move on. Now, that was on A Current Affair tonight, but Channel 7 wasn't to be outdone because over on 7, Sydney sport presenter Mel McLaughlin, well, this is heartbreaking because she revealed why she's been missing from their airwaves since December. Now, the popular 7 News Sydney presenter has been fighting lung cancer, opening up to news presenter Mark Ferguson about her ordeal.
I was diagnosed with lung cancer in December, so that led to surgery. I've had half my lung cut out.
Hard to believe what you've just heard from one so fit, so full of energy, and a lifelong non-smoker.
It's just very traumatic. It's very triggering. It's just a lot of emotions. And also, you don't want to worry anyone.
Especially her family. Because Mel lost her big sister Tara to lung cancer a decade ago. She was a mum of 2. She was just 39.
To pass that news on to family around Christmas time is very tough. But you're trying to tell your mum and dad who've already lost a daughter, and you're trying to tell your nephews who've already lost their mum.
Yeah, because in our family, and this is, I don't want anyone to think that this is in our family, lung cancer meant death. We have one example, and we lost her.
Heartbreaking, isn't it? You know, I've worked with Mel. I've done a few promo shoots with her. She's a very reserved person off air. And it would have been hard for her to sit down for that interview. But there is a reason why she did it, I'm assuming. There has been some reports in the media on news.com.au about her missing and about Matt White taking her job. And, you know, obviously she wasn't in a position to talk about it, but the reporting has been relentless. I actually did contact Mel and said, look, is there anything you want to tell me? She didn't reply, which is obviously why I know why now, because she has been going through this. I really like Mel. She's very genuine, very shy. And it's funny, I had this chat with her. Oh, I don't know if I should say it, but I talked about her lack of confidence with her, which is so weird because on camera, she owns the camera and she delivers perfectly. She's such a wonderful presenter, but she isn't a diva. She's so down to earth. And of all the people for this to happen to, it's really sad that this is happening to her. All I can say is I wish her the very, very best. I think she's a wonderful person, and you can see the full story of that on the 7 News Australia website. They have posted the video, so you can go and have a look at that. And it's a good story. You know, in the TV Black Box Slack channel, someone said to me, she's not talking a lot. Fergo's doing a lot of the talking. And I said, that's because Mel would have found it very hard. She doesn't want to open up about that, but I feel like she's been forced into doing it, not by Channel 7, just because of the reporting, and she needed to set it straight and talk about what's going on. So all we can do is send her all our love. Good on you, Mel. Thank you for sharing that.
The best place to watch McKnight Tonight is on YouTube. Help us monetize the show by going to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. And you can always become a paid member. That gives you exclusive live streams and early access to videos. Just go to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight.
Jasmine tells me there's a lot of feedback coming through to McKnight Tonight. We will get to that in just a moment. But first, let's have a big change of pace. Let's have a bit of a laugh. Let's have a back-end quickie.
It's time for a Backend quickie.
The great thing about this show is that because I load up the clips, Amanda doesn't see them before we go to air. Amanda, this one's for you. That's your new alarm.
Yes, that's my family in the morning.
Of all the nights for your microphone not to be working, of all the nights, I play it again. It's too funny. Our friend Leah sent it to us. You didn't even look at it, but I looked at it and went, oh, I'm going to use that one. Thank you, Leah, for sending that to us. Oh, I don't know why it makes me laugh, but it's a fun clip. All right, let's take a look at some feedback, or a lot of feedback coming through to McKnight Tonight. Mr. Phil Gilbert said, I might grab myself a McKnight Tonight mug now. You better do it soon, Mr. Phil Gilbert, because they're going quick. We've got this one from Own Your Crazy. Created demand by telling us limited time only. Yes, it is a limited time only because I'm about to hit the delete key on the Shopify store. So go to McKnightTonight.myshopify.com before stocks are gone and you can't get any more. Clintos is the bestos says a $5 from at Clintos is the bestos. Bazinga, did we get a cash donation? Thank you, Clintos is the bestos. And you can do that. Just in your chat, there's a little money icon. Completely up to you. Just if you want to. No pressure at all. How are we going with that next mortgage payment? Andy13CE. I know that's going to mean something, right? And I'm not getting it. I'm terrible with these. Andy says, I'm gay and I was against Marriage Act being changed. Not against gay marriage, just changing the Marriage Act. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. We've got this one from Own Your Crazy. Rob, you could create a better video for just $1,000, but pay him at least $500,000. Now you're talking. Yes. Well, look at what we do here. Every night, we do all this on the smell of an oily rag in our garage. And, the things I could have done with $1 million. Jesus. Could you imagine this show if we had $1 million? Well, sorry. Jeanette says, it's now aired on McKnight Tonight. Very good, Jeanette. Absolutely true. Matt says, bloody hell, what a pile of garbage. Yes, we're talking, I assume we're talking about the Commonwealth Games ad. Dylan says, what was that merch site again? Well, Dylan, it's so good you asked. McKnightTonight.myshopify.com. That's McKnightTonight.myshopify.com. I tried something there, it didn't work. We've got this one from Dylan. Oh, Jasmine. I think Jasmine was trying to get another plug out. Hello, the Book of Dark 6888, $5. Construction work is Australia's most dangerous job. Of course, they should be well paid. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I absolutely agree they should be well paid. The problem we have sometimes is it's the union management that actually stops people getting work because they go too far. Do not get me wrong, I'm a big believer in workers getting paid fairly, getting paid on public holidays, all that kind of stuff. So please do not take Robbie wrong on that, but thank you for your $5 donation. Clintos is the bestos says, seems like the Victorian government have ruined any chance of any state of Australia hosting the Commonwealth Games in the future. Yeah, I think you might be right, Clintos. We've got this one from Adam. Any brand or organisation that caves to wokeness and cancel culture loses me. That's why as soon as Have You Been Paying Attention dropped him, I stopped watching. I thought Working Dog was stronger than that, but apparently not. Of course, you're talking about Marty Sheargold. And in that A Current Affair interview, which I assume will be on 9 Now, he says that when it comes to Fisk, he thinks Kitty would have him back, but not the producers, and not the ABC. So he's not expecting to return to Fisk, which is a shame. He's very, very good in that. Mr. Phil Gilbert says, I stand with Marty. F cancel culture, full of degenerate losers with no life and too much time to whinge about things on the internet. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Got this one from Matthew. I don't find anything sackable about what he said. I concur. We've got this one from Lefty Muller. Hey, Rob, media alert. Can't say too much. Big radio sacking's going to happen in the next week or so. No, it's not ARN. Well, you need to go to the TV Black Box website and hit the contact me, a direct contact me, or just, everybody knows my email address by now, don't they? rob@tvblackbox.com.au. rob@tvblackbox.com.au. Send me an email. Tell me more. Dylan says, very sad news for Mel. Hope she pulls through. Yeah, I agree, Dylan. I absolutely agree with you. And we hope we're sending all our love to her. Clintos is the bestos, says Mel is one of the best presenters on TV, not just one of the best women presenters on TV. She knows her stuff. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. Clintos is the bestos. Look, thank you for all your feedback coming through to McKnight Tonight. What do you reckon? Shall we do it again tomorrow? Let's do it all again tomorrow. And Tipsy Thursday. And here's the issue. The wine's run out again. Well, there's a glass left, isn't there, in the wine? And Amanda said she wants it. So I may be having a dry, tipsy Thursday tomorrow. Although we had a few donations. So maybe buy me a coffee, buy me a tipple. All right, that's it for McKnight Tonight. Thank you for your company. See you for Tipsy Thursday, and I hope you have a great night because it's good night from McKnight. Cheers.
Insightful interviews from a washed-up producer with nothing to lose. McKnight Tonight. It's good night.